Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back with another live stream of Hearthstone. Actually got notifications this Friday, July 13th. Haven't been getting those and kind of just given up on getting notifications. YouTube has just gotten awful in so many different ways, but notifications in particular have been garbage. And it doesn't really even seem like it has anything to do with the time that you go live, as much as it just seems like YouTube just goes down for days with their notification system. But we don't need to start with a complaint. If I'm going to start with a complaint, I could also get into another rant that I want to avoid and we may talk about later. I'm not 100% sure why I have 3 daily quests. Like, that seems wrong. It seems like they sped something up. Like, today's Friday. We got everything done on Wednesday on the Asian account. So I should have gotten a quest on Thursday and a quest today. So where'd the 3rd quest come from? I don't know, I guess I'm not gonna look a gift horse in the mouth. What do we need to do? Play a bunch of Murlocs, win 2 games, play a bunch of Death Rattle cards. All of which I think can be done in the Murloc play. So let's just do that. And that'll get at least 2 of our quests done. And play a little bit of ranked and go up. We have a ton of news. Just tons of it. Good news is, I believe I finally fixed the duplicate tab issue, but even at that, I still have more than an entire 1080p screen worth of tabs on Chrome. But by installing Privacy Badger and then enabling, I'm not sure which of the 2 or 3 automatically shuts it down duplicate tab plugins I enabled, but whichever one I enabled, and I'd have to look. Yeah, let's be informative and not just be ridiculous here. Let's just look right now. It's not too hard. Settings. Let's see. I don't think it is under settings, I think it's under tools. Their menu system sucks. More tools, extensions. Let's see. I'm scrolling down to see which one it is. Privacy Badger and the Great Suspender and let's see.
Why do you call?
What is the other thing? Clutter-free prevent duplicate tabs. That's the extension that I installed. Sorry it took so long to get to that information. I have a bunch of other extensions installed also, but I don't think they really relate to fixing the anything else. Like uBlock Origin is an ad blocker. I think I want to turn this tags for YouTube extension back on. Several plugins. Adblock Plus, I'm not using an adblock. I'm not using, you know, several enhanced Steam things. Anyways, moving on. I just said I didn't have a lot of time today, and I had a bunch of news, and I immediately go back on that and choose to not focus. So I need to really pay attention. So first article today, PC Gamer has the article, Konami has shut down the PT for PC remake. The creator claims Konami made it up by offering him an internship. Which I don't really know. I mean, take the internship, I suppose. Konami is Konami, and Konami is the worst, to quote Jim Sterling. But in an incident like this, you were making a clone of their intellectual property, so you're getting something for basically having done something you were never going to get away with doing in the first place. This is the weirdness here, is that somebody made a PT remake for PC, and I downloaded it in time knowing this would happen, but they didn't. The game that was going to be a spiritually inspired PT-like game didn't succeed. It was kickstarted and it was picked up by in partnership with a publisher, and that was, I believe it was called Allison Rose, something like that. That one failed miserably, and that's a little bit surprising that's the way this has gone. It's a little bit surprising that other people haven't tried to make games like PT, at least on Steam. I think inherently there aren't a lot of Unity assets for a creepy house as many as there are Unity assets for hospitals and just dark forests and schools even. So maybe a lot of the people who would have tried to make a cheap PT ripoff instead made a cheap ripoff of just a horror walking simulator, and that's the difference there. But I really would have thought that there would have been a something like one AAA developer that would go out there and try to do something. It's odd to say that maybe Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice is the closest PT inspired clone. I guess maybe Agony, maybe Scorn when that comes out, but not really. None of that really locks in. Maybe there's just too much respect for Kojima to try to rip him off in the industry. That might be the case. Or too much respect in the industry by players of Kojima, so if you tried to rip him off it wouldn't go well. As for this guy, like, he's kind of lucky. It's like, if he's gonna get a cease and desist and an internship, that's more than most people would get for doing this. Again, don't waste your time making clones of your favorite games. They're just gonna get cease and desisted. Make your own game. I really wish that there had been somebody like the Allison Road game had actually succeeded, and I suppose there's a chance that maybe Allison Road is being developed in secret somewhere, or something like it. Moving on, we have a game on Steam called Dungeon Rush. Early access action adventure. It looks like a VR game. Let's see. Yes, it's a VR game for $8.99 right now with 10% off. It's a standard, you're standing in one place type tower defense game. Looks a lot like Orcs Must Die, which was a combination of a tower defense through traps and attacking with either a sword or a bow, I believe. This game, it seems like you're attacking with a bow. Doesn't look great, but doesn't look awful. But it's also a VR game, so I don't really have to say anything more about it, in my opinion. Coverage of VR games is gonna just get smaller and smaller as time goes on. We've got a game on Steam called Thievery that really looks like a school project. Like, it's a platformer that looks like very individual school project assets have been used. Something you'd expect a second year, maybe, video game programmer to make, and you never really put out for sale. Meanwhile, this game is out for sale, 25% off for $2.24, and it's just not visually appealing enough. Maybe the controls are amazingly tight. It doesn't seem that way, but maybe. I want to kill this guy.
This is my responsibility. Job's done.
Seriously?
Give that minion a turn to get ready.
Let's see, Gamma Citra has an article. Valve brings back trading to the Netherlands, though loot boxes remain blocked. Valve has issued a patch, among other things, re-enabling trading in the Steam marketplace for Counter-Strike Global Offensive players in the Netherlands and Belgium. This comes weeks after the company first shut down services in compliance with requests with the Netherlands Gaming Authority, though it is worth noting that players in those regions are still unable to open in-game loot boxes. Okay, so it seems like the story, for the most part, is just moving forward, as one would kind of expect it to. Valve is working with the Netherlands, it seems, to stay within the law and still get that sweet, sweet Counter-Strike Go marketplace trading cash. It's not really like that. It's not really like Valve is going to go bankrupt if they can't have loot boxes and trading in the Netherlands and Belgium, but it sets the precedence that the entire European Union could fall under, and then if the entire European Union falls under similar regulations and laws, very possibly significant portions of the entire world. We've got a game on Steam called Falling Blocks. Let's watch this trailer. But they super generic, unimaginative name like Falling Blocks. You are not expecting much. And once the trailer got through all of its logos, it delivered even worse. Imagine a single screen Unity game playing Tetris that isn't even taking up the full screen. Like, this isn't even a case of the left side and the right side are empty because it has to be a vertically oriented game. There is large gaps of empty space on the left side, the right side, and the bottom, and a decent amount of empty space at the top. So, yeah. That's pretty awful as far as quality of games go. Let's see, Falling Box is 40% off for 59 cents, which I believe is the minimum. And this developer has made 2 games on Steam so far, so it might be the beginning of a new developer to keep an eye on, or for me to keep an eye on, to know this developer makes really bad games and is just, I don't know if you call that the straight up trolling that Steam said they would block, or if you're just going to fall down that direction because Yeah, I don't know what they mean by straight up trolling. I think probably that developer isn't straight up trolling. I don't think he falls in that section. I think he's just a bad developer putting out garbage. And Steam has updated everything, so garbage games are going to become even more difficult to see, which I think people weren't seeing them anyways. But if you are browsing that upcoming feed, they've now updated it to be the upcoming popular feed, which excludes DLCs for games you don't have, and it's more customized. So that's interesting, certainly. I don't look at the upcoming feed or the upcoming popular feed. I still use what's on Steam, and I feel like that's a better system. Particularly since if I looked at those feeds and it was customized to my account, I probably am not going to see a lot of games that may have some reason to be mentioned on even if they are just very low effort games or troll games. Let's see. We have a racing game on Steam called Danger Zone 2. It's a game where you're driving at very high speed, it says on real public roads, and I think the trick here, there was a giant bomb quickly for it, so this is like the one game I'm gonna mention that Giant Bomb has covered in the past couple days, which, if anything, I guess Giant Bomb is doing a little bit better than they were doing during E3, where they really weren't covering anything. But what it seems like as far as Danger Zone is you have to race to a certain distance called the Danger Zone, away from where you start. And from that, when you get in the Danger Zone, I think at that point they want you to crash and see as much damage as you can do. Kind of like a Crazy Taxi-esque gameplay. There seems to be a certain number of cars that you're supposed to avoid before you crash to make it more of a game. Danger Zone 2 is $19.99 with no discount. It's from Three Fields Entertainment, which made Dangerous Golf and Danger Zone 1. So, and Dangerous Golf and Danger Zone 1 are rated positively, so that gives me a little bit of hope that it is a good a potentially good game that I'll keep an eye on. Like, I'm looking at Dangerous Golf here, and it seems like Dangerous Golf is the exact same concept where you're trying to make as much damage as possible. I actually remember when Giant Bomb reviewed Dangerous Golf too, so I think they're kind of friends with the developers, or at least friendly with them. And I think they didn't particularly like Dangerous Golf for its system, but it's rated mostly positive overall. Well, in the last 30 days it's mostly positive. Overall it's only at 45%. Interesting. So I wouldn't be surprised if Dangerous Golf is a little bit of a disappointment of a game. Danger Zone makes a little bit more sense than Dangerous Golf does, and Danger Zone 1 is 67.66% overall. So none of these games are hitting the highest ratings ever. That's a little bit weird. Like, Danger Zone 1 has a Metacritic rating of 64%. So the Danger series, Dangerous Golf and Danger Zone, seem to be in that section where I can wishlist it, but I'd have to really think about it. And I probably would never get around to it. It just doesn't feel like something that would happen. Just keep on playing. Next game we have on Steam is called Trek Around the World. I mean Trek Travel Around the World. That's Trek T-R-E-K. It looks like it's a VR game where you walk through portals and you end up in different environments, and it seems like you have a magic wand that lets you draw things. Maybe that's what makes the portals, or what. It seems like you just drew a deer and it became a constellation. So this feels like one of those VR experimental games. It's 10% off for $8.09. Arguably, maybe this game has more per little sequence than what I normally see in VR, but it's still doesn't look like a finished singular product. And we really can't get to a point in the video game industry. I just don't think we could do this where we are bottom of the barrel selling collections of unfinished or really bad games. Like Steam bundles certainly kind of do that, and Steam sales and Humble Bundles still kind of do that, but not to the level of what I'm thinking is in some Walmarts. They have these less than $5 movies that are from like the 1940s that have been converted from black and white film to VHS to Laserdisc to DVD to Blu-ray for no reason, and they look awful, and the movies are just not popular. And nowadays they'll also sell DVDs that have like 3 unpopular movies together, and I just don't think we can get to that point in video games, and I don't think we want to get to that point in video games. Let's see. Next game we have on Steam is called Lily Palace, Lilipalace. Let's see. It's under the sexual content games tag. It's tagged with sexual content RPG and indie. Let's see what this trailer looks like.
Put this apple on your head.
Let's go like this. And this.
Reporting for duty.
Job's done.
In the turn. So Lily Palace is a very ugly, but I will applaud it at least at being a widescreen dungeon crawler-esque game. The animation of the characters don't look amazingly great. Like, there's like one character, female character, that's interesting, and then I've seen 2 other male characters and a ogre. This feels like a widescreen version of an old school dungeon crawler game, which I have no nostalgia for playing dungeon crawlers at all, but I definitely, even if I did, would want them to try to improve and look better and not just have flat 2D animations. Let me just skip through all these screenshots. See, as a game that is basically trying to sell itself on the sexual content, it's failing miserably here. Seems like maybe they half thought they were going to have to censor themselves or not. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a Japanese game that they just licensed and renamed and reskinned. This game is 15% off for $11.04. Like, but there's nothing here. Nothing here at all that says this is a interesting to see game. And the developer hasn't made anything else. And the publisher has only published one other game, but the other game is called Fallen Makina in the City of Ruins, and it's rated very positively at 85% over its lifetime since February 23rd. And Makina looks like an RPG Maker game, with the graphics slightly better, but I'd say only the tiniest of steps better looking.
Reporting for duty.
Let's keep on playing. Next game we have on Steam is called Which Way Out, which this looks awful. I need better descriptive words than that, certainly. Seems like some very generic polygons. You're playing as this round ball that is shooting, I think, lights around to affect where he can and can't travel. But this is a dark screenshot syndrome type game because most of the game is in darkness. The colors are bad primaries where half of the screen is red and blue. 100 Steam achievements for 30% off for 69 cents. You know what this game is really about. It's about getting Steam achievements and not about quality. This is a troll game. So it's a troll game called Russia Battlegrounds, where it seems like you're fighting the same sprite over and over again using a broken bottle, and it does not seem to me like this is actually a multiplayer game at all. It says it's multiplayer, but for the vast number of people of the same skin running towards you, that seems more staged than realistic. Let's...
Your magic shall not save you.
Go and take the victory. See, we may have some growth of more trolls. I saw a lot of troll games setting up today. Okay, so we need more victories and we need more death rattles. Is there something that I could play that would have more death rattles? Combo Priest, Battlecry Shaman, Zoo Warlock, or Tempo Rogue. Let's try Zoo Warlock. Gamasutra has an article. Able Gamers donates $10,000 worth of accessible game gear to the NOLA Kids Hospital. NOLA Hospital. New Orleans Children's Hospital. So, NOLA being New Orleans, Louisiana.
Versus Thrall. For Doomhammer.
Among the gift was the Microsoft new Xbox Adaptive Controller, but I imagine 10,000, was it? No, yeah. 10,000 is not a ton, because from what I've seen, the cost of one console system, one station, that has been specifically designed so that it can be bleached over and over again and it won't break, and thus it's germ-free. That has been specifically designed so that it can be plugged in and moved around in a hospital. One of those stations costs between $3,000 and $8,000. So your 3 stations alone could be the vast majority of a $10,000 donation. This is in part almost certainly why healthcare is so expensive in hospitals. The idea that there's an industry there at all is a little weird. The idea that hospitals are spending money on that is a little weird, but frankly, if you're a child in a hospital, you probably don't want to be in a hospital and comply with instructions of the doctors. So if the doctors are telling them, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this, it'd be helpful if they're happier to comply because they're playing video games and getting rewarded. So maybe $10,000 worth of entertainment is worth it at that, from that perspective. Of course, a layman person thinks $10,000, man, that can buy a lot of Xbox Ones or PS4s and a lot of games and a lot of controllers. And I feel like the argument's probably kind of true. Like, the TVs in most hospitals, just in general, are up on the ceiling, and they don't seem like they have much of a specialness to them, but I imagine the hospitals are still getting overcharged for them. So if you just plug in an Xbox away from the patient so they're not coughing on it or bleeding on it, you probably don't need those extremely expensive gaming stations that they sell. So it's probably an unnecessary expense. Next game we have on Steam is called The Cooking Game VR. It's another game where you pretend to do your job. I would say this game has the appearance of being a little bit more detailed compared to like Cook Serve Delicious, while still not really having hyper realistic or good looking graphics. It's VR, so I can ignore it because of that. It's early access, and it's a game where you're doing a job, which is just not something I ever want to do. Yeah, I may win here, but this deck is not gonna play any Death Rattle cards, is it? Gamma Sutra has an article. The Banner Saga 3 developers discuss making a proper grand finale. I don't think the Banner Saga 3 is out yet, so not in this article. I'm not seeing a release date. So this is kind of one of those Gamma Sutra self-advertising.
Your magic shall not save you.
Self-advertising posts where either the developer themselves push for the post to come out, or they're doing it to be friendly. Like, and we really don't have time to read articles that are just advertisements, so let's move on. Next game we have on Steam is called Mars or Die. Action, indie strategy, space, Mars survival. I'm seeing a trailer with a bunch of robots, and this seems like this is kind of a real-time strategy game. Yeah, like Command and Conquer. But with a little bit more hecticness, and it seems like a main character does play a role. So it's kind of also like the like Pikmin. Let's go in. Marshall doesn't look horrible, so I should keep an eye on it. It's 10% off for $17.99, so I'll keep an eye on it, wishlist it. But I'm not sure if I really want to play a new real-time strategy, or if more realistically I just want to go play StarCraft. Like StarCraft 1, StarCraft 2. So that leaves me with just Death Rattle cards. And so I'm trying to find a deck with Death Rattle. I probably should stop playing and either make a deck or find a deck that has Death Rattle on it. But I also have a ton of news, so let's see. PC Gamer has this article, Quarto, that's Q-U-A-R-2-T-O, is what would happen if Tic-Tac-Toe were a fun game.
What?
The subtitle here is the recent Steam version has me remembering why it's worth playing. This was a unique looking game. So, was there any Death Rattles on this thing? Let's see. Do we have anything in our deck that would have been a Death Rattle? Let's try Tempo Mage. Just going around in circles here. I remember looking at Quarto, but I'm not sure I actually put it in the wish list. I was thinking that there was something wrong with it. Maybe I did wish list this. It is an interesting looking game.
Jaina versus Uther.
It's $6.99. It has no reviews.
You
So unless I was just in a particularly bad move, I don't know why this game would have not been wishlisted. So I'll double check and make sure it is wishlisted and move on to the next game. Quarto. Certainly I'm still having an issue with running into games that are getting reported on either a few weeks or a few weeks before or after its actual release date on Steam. And I guess at a certain point this is an argument against video game publishers getting early access and then not being given a release window. Like, when you have companies like PC Gamer, for example, talking about a game months before it comes out on Steam, my release window and Steam's release window is just not in alignment with the release window of their articles. And more I'm wondering if I'll just end up ignoring the articles of people in favor of just making my own decisions from nothing on games. Let's see. TechRaptor has this article, uncensorpat.ch fights censorship in Steam's adult games. So it's uncensored patch with a period in between the T and C, which I assume that's like a Czech website domain.
Reporting for duty.
So here's the thing: if this is a uncensored patch, not safe for work, it's a website dedicated to hosting uncensored patches for this game. We spoke with the site's operator Pat about their site and the industry in general. So yeah, that would be a website I would use if I wasn't a YouTuber who kind of needs the games to stay And let's see, the next paragraph here says some games like Kagumi Works and Sakura Games Mirror are listed as verified not safe for work on the site. This means that Pat has personally tested the patch lists themselves to the best of their ability to ensure that it works without anything malicious going on behind the scenes. So a little bit of a guarantee from somebody you probably shouldn't trust that there's nothing malicious in the patches they're hosting. You're putting a lot of trust in them, certainly, though, when they're hosting anything. There are 150 plus titles on Uncensored Patch. The thing here, more than anything, is can I log in to my Steam account on this site and have them tell me what games are censored? Because that's the thing that I would be interesting to see, is if I have to go through my 900 games to find out that only 5 of them have censorship on them, and who's to say that some of those are things that barely have any censorship, like one scene. Honey Pop is a great example of that. There's really only about 30 images that were slightly censored in that game. Everything else was the same. So, how much censorship is censorship? Let's see, so I'm on the website and the first thing is a warning that says censored. So you can't even get on the website unless you know what you're doing. The website seems pretty basic. And there's a Patreon to support people. You can browse games.
Quickly.
You can search games. You can go to the home. Let's see. There's an about page and a contact page, and that's kind of it. Like, apparently you can donate games, and so it seems like this is really being run by one person, Pat. And I guess Pat is probably not the real name, considering it's uncensoredpat.ch. Let's see, if I browse the popular games, the website is pretty bad. Pretty bad. It's just not highlighting things well. It's scrolling down in one long list. Looks like a WordPress that website. Could use a lot of work for a website. Let's see, and I guess just because the game is listed on the site doesn't inherently mean that there is a patch. Just that there may just be listings of games that are censored and they know are censored, and they're attempting to find a patch. Let's see. How long have we been streaming? Because I'm gonna have to run to the bathroom. Yeah, we've only been streaming about 45 minutes, so I could go longer, but I'm just gonna go ahead and concede, and we're gonna have to take a break, and we'll leave the stream going. So apologies for that. I'll be back in probably about 30 minutes. We in this first recording, got most things done. I just need to find 5 Death Rattle cards, and if I really spend the time to find a deck that has some Death Rattle cards in it, that'll be easy. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.